Hey everybody, it's good to see you today, and I want to talk about how MLM works and 3 things to consider. These are 3 things you're not going to want to miss, so stay tuned.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey everyone, Bill Reinecke here with MLM Science, and I'm so glad you're here today and that you tuned in. And I've really got something I want to share with you about how MLM works and 3 things to consider. Today there are so many things out there that really just go against the grain of what MLM really is and what network marketing is. And I say those two synonymously because to me they're one and the same. And so I don't like to leave one term out over the other, because sometimes people think they're 2 distinctly different things. I think the multi-level marketing, or MLM, kind of carries a little more stigma, and so at the end of the day really the concepts aren't any different. And so I think you could argue it probably and break it down a little bit, but really not much, not in my book or my mind. So anyway, 3 things I want to share with you today about this, and this has really been heavy on my heart as I'm building my MLM business from scratch, and I'm doing it with you guys watching. I'm working on some things that I can't wait to bring to you here in the next couple weeks. I'm building a funnel that is that has just a ton of value. And so as I do this, I'm thinking about the person out there that doesn't really maybe have a lot of experience. So, and how can this be duplicatable? So that's what I'm working on. And before I jump into the 3 things, one thing I really want to encourage you to do is that if you're watching this and you think, wow, I want to grow an MLM business, I want to tell you that it's work, okay? And you got to be consistent at it. It's like any business. And so, I have an internet marketing business, and this is, I guess, a facet of that. And what I've done is I brought my internet marketing experience and knowledge to the MLM business, because you can really, they go together. And so, but my point there is that I've been at this, I do this every day, and I very rarely do I take a day off where I'm not spending a few hours at least, but and I understand you have family and work and all these other things, but if it's important to you, you got to figure out how to fit that in your life and realize that it's an investment. Everything you do is just an investment. I've spent, thousands and thousands, untold thousands of dollars investing in a 401k that doesn't amount to a hill of beans today, and at one point it was like, this thing's really growing. It's someday when I choose to retire, it probably could, go a long way in providing for my lifestyle. But today, it's a little stash of money somewhere, and I've decided that I was going to fund my retirement through my business. So this is one part of doing that. So I am building a downline of 10,000 people from scratch. I got into my MLM business about 2 years ago. They wanted me to kind of hit up my friends and family, and I wasn't going to do it. So I was kind of, working out my business and thinking about this business, my MLM business, and how I could really grow that. So I've been working on this for a long time with really nothing in return. I love the product. I consume it every day. I use it. I believe in it. I tell people about it. And I think if you want to get some, and I'll be glad to give you a link. I don't even care if you buy it from me at this point, So, I would share. I share my product without getting paid for it. Some people take the link and buy it through me. I even shared it with some people, and they found some friends, and they got involved with those friends. That's fine. There are so many people out there looking for this opportunity. I'm not looking and fighting for that one person out there, so that's why I have this channel, is I want to help people. I want to contribute to the industry. So anyway, enough of that rant. And so the 3 things I want to share with you today, I'm looking at my notes here, is that the thing about the MLM business, and that one of the things in the way it works is it does recruit people. It recruits, you've got to, in order to build a sales force, you have to recruit. And that's what I want to really speak to today, because I think when it comes to recruiting, this is not something that is done in a friendly way, and it should be done in a very friendly way. It should be done in a way that people are helped and it doesn't harm people. So, when they want you to hit up your friends and family and try to drag people into it and go out and, like fight for that one person that's showing an interest, that is not my idea of recruiting. Okay, so when I talk about recruiting, I want to find people that are interested in what I have to offer. All right, and so one of the things I think about is, they're here in New Mexico, they're starting to put up chili stands, and when you talk to people about red and green chili, some people love it, some people don't. And so the people that they're going to sell red and green chili to are the people that are interested. And they're the people that come to the chili stands. And you have to stand in line. And so when I think about that, that's what I want to set up, is I want to set up a stand. I want to set up, and that's what I'm doing. I'm setting up a place, if you will, and I'm creating something for people that are interested. All the people that are not interested, they just go right on by it. And this is called a squeeze page. All right, and so you set up a squeeze page, you provide a free thing, they put in their name, their email, you have your text up here, you provide a free thing of value, that's the ticket of value. And so people that are interested come to that squeeze page, and then they go on to their name goes into a bucket called an email list. And that's how you do it. I don't want you hitting up your friends and family. I want you to maintain those relationships and grow and just continue to love them. The second thing is that an MLM business is kind of like a franchise. If you've ever thought about starting your own business and you think you didn't have enough money, then think no longer. Go no further than an MLM business, okay? But when I talk about doing that, I don't mean just any company. There are some things that you need to consider when you consider a company, and one that has been around a while. Try a different color here. So you want an established company. You want to do some research. Everybody's going to have some complaints, but you really want to see what are distributors saying about them, so they need to have a good rating. And then the other thing you want to really consider is when you're looking at an MLM company or a network marketing company is the product. Do they have a good product? And that has to go without saying, because this is the commerce. The other thing to consider when you're along with this, as far as being an established company, is how many people are they able to show for who are successful. I know of companies out there that have a long list of successful people, and of course there's always going to be somebody that's upset, but they have a smaller percentage of upset people than they have of successful people. So that's the kind of company that you want to get involved with. And I know of several that are out there like that. That's not a sneaky way of promoting the company I'm with. I'm just saying that that's what you want to look for. Then also underneath an established company, and there's one other thing that breaks out of there, and that is the startup cost. Needs to be low. Now I'm not saying that everybody comes in at that, but I mean it needs to have that low barrier of entry. So when I came in, I didn't just buy a few products and buy the sign up fee. I think it was $50. I came in and I bought a startup pack, and it had a lot of products that I wanted to try other than the ones I was familiar with, and some sales aids and things like that. But that was not required of me getting involved. So that's what I'm talking about. If someone's telling you that there's this really high amount of money that you have to pay to get involved, then and then they're trying to guilt you into that, then you need to run. Okay, so that when you talk about an established company, a reputable company, that's really what you want to look for. Also, you want to look at the compensation plan. Okay, so that needs to be something that is very rewarding, and that you can understand, and it needs to be also set up. In any good established company that's reputable and ethical, it will always be possible for you to exceed the person that brought you in. And that is so important, because there's this idea that you're never going to exceed the person that brought you in, and that's just not so. So that's compensation plans are a whole other training, and then there are training on top of that depending on where you choose to get involved. And then the third thing is that there is the what I call the reality. That's really on there. The reality factor. So what I tell people that get involved with me is that there's the reality factor, and that owning your own business, your MLM business or any business, is going to be hard work. It's not, nobody's going to come and do it for you. I'm not going to build it for you, and I don't expect you to build my business, but we'll work together, and you're going to have to work hard. Okay, but but when I say work hard, I'm not talking about neglecting your family. I'm not talking about neglecting your job or your life. Part of that hard work is figuring out how to fit something else in there. But that comes to time management, and anybody with a business has to figure that out. The other thing is that there's no guarantees. And if anybody's trying to guarantee you any kind of success or anything like that, then you need to realize that, I'm going to tell you run, okay? I'm going to tell you there's no guarantees. I'm going to say this is what works for me, this is what works for other people. I can't guarantee that it's going to do the same for you. We can have the same bag of tools and go to do the same job and have a little bit different outcome, just by the mere fact of who we are. So that's a variable there. But so it's hard work. There's no guarantees, and and the thing about it is that working with people, is difficult. What I mean by that is, it's just not like everybody's just going to jump on board, so you got to be a leader, and that kind of goes along with that. You got to be a leader, but you've got to be able to support people and help build them up and help support them and coach them. So you have to be a leader to be successful. You got to be able to create leaders and be able to, and I'm good at that. That's how I really believe I got laid off, was I trained 3 people to do my job, and they could do it just as good, and I never had any shame or fear about that. And so that, the company had to do some cutting back, and that's how that goes. So you can train people here to do a job better than you, and everybody's going to benefit. Here's the reality factor also, is that there is potential for huge success. There is no push button riches. And those are the realities. Those are the realities of network marketing and MLM, is that it's hard work. There's no guarantees. There's, working with people can be difficult. It can also be very rewarding. I have met some people in the business that are just, I think, the world of. So, I have family and friends today that, that don't even really know what I'm doing. they could care less, and you know what, that's okay. I'm not interested in being in business with them anyway, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that, you know, it lets people be where they're at. Not everybody wants, if you went out and got in a landscaping business, not everybody in your family is going to want to be in the landscaping business with you. This is no different. So we shouldn't really be beating on our family and friends, and that's a big thing with me. Potential for huge success, you know, and excuse my sloppy writing, but there is a huge potential, like in any business, but you're going to have to put something into it. And there's no push button riches here in MLM or network marketing. You're not going to make $1 million this year or the next year probably. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but it's going to take some time and consistent effort and investment. So those are the 3 things to consider when you get into a network marketing business. But I have a bonus that I want to share, that if you are thinking about building a network marketing company, that and are starting your own business as an independent business owner and recruiting a sales force, something that I would encourage you to bring to it is honesty and integrity. Don't tell people what they want to hear, tell them what they need to hear. All right, and if they got out of the business at that point, they did you and themselves a favor. Be supportive. Become the person you want to train. Become the person that you want to train people to become. Go out and teach everything you learn. And by doing that, you become a role model, and people will do the same thing you're doing. Could you imagine if you had 1,000 people, even 100 people, 50 people for that matter, that were going out and doing these things in an organization that you helped start? Could you imagine the possibilities and the potential? And people really appreciate people being honest, even if it's something that's hard to hear, you know. And so I'd really rather tell you these things than have you get in business with me and then a month down the road sitting there going, well, you know, this isn't quite what I thought it would be. So I'd really rather somebody say, well, this isn't half as bad as you made it out to sound. So that would be something I'd much rather hear. So this is what I've just really had on my heart this week. You know, I just really feel like we just got to bring this to the industry, you know, and that we really need to be transparent about it. If you were to go out and try to buy a franchise for a restaurant, or maybe a fast food sandwich place, or I don't know, a carpet cleaning franchise, and think of any of the franchises that are out there, you know, you would have to spend probably on the low end on a franchise, inexpensive franchise, maybe $150,000, $250,000. You would be required to go through some extensive training just to, you know, to pay to use their name. You would have to buy equipment. You would have to go out and hire people. You would have to buy, you know, possibly vehicles, cooking equipment, whatever would be needed in that business. You might be out $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 before you ever took in your first dollar months after you started this process. With an MLM business, you can start with very low money to come in. Even if you paid a couple $100s, it's still very low when you consider the amount. And then you want to go in and you want to find somebody that can support you, provide some training, some coaching, and, you know, and help you support you and your work and effort in building your business. So I hope this is helpful. Consider these things. Probably put a few more things than 3 on the board, but you know, I kind of get carried away there. But I just really, it's part of me being honest and having some integrity about the industry. So I hope that's helpful. And until next time, have a great day.